right, so while we're on the subject, are we ready to move to video games?
Oh, boy.
And the big video game that's coming up, we all know what it is. Drum roll. It's Halo 4.
Absolutely. So stoked. It's a big time for Microsoft because they have to prove to their audiences, to the fans, that their number one franchise can hold up without, its parent, without Bungie, the developer that's been with it for over a decade now. Can Microsoft's team bring the same success to the table?
I don't even know.
We just got a harsh post. Most anticlimactic drum roll ever. Ouch.
Ooh.
I don't know. We'll have to work on that, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. I think that it'll be very interesting to see what Microsoft can pull out. I'll be really curious because I think they're well aware that if they drop the ball on this, they lose a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a debilitating blow if they drop the ball. And I think they're very, very aware of that, which hopefully will result in a good product.
Yes, a lot of pressure.
And what we've seen from E3 and Comic-Con this year, it's going to deliver a lot of content that people have been looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that they still haven't really brought is like a custom games browser where you can find any lobby, but there are server limitations involved, and there's reasons that they haven't delivered that, but I guarantee it's at the top of the list of things they want to deliver for the fans.
Yeah. I've been kind of keeping my eye on some of the videos that Microsoft has been posting about new weapons.
We were watching that one today. The weapon one.
What was that? I gotta look it up.
Was it the Promethean weapons?
Yes, that one.
Yeah,
the new
someone
enemies.
just disintegrates.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun.
And they've got a pulse grenade that you throw in an area, and then it drains anybody's health that runs through that area.
Oh, I wasn't sure how that was working. I just saw them throwing it.
Yeah, it's kind of like the power drain from Halo 3, which was very overpowered.
Yeah.
But now they've kind of brought it back in a new way.
The rifle looked really powerful.
Yes.
What was it? 2 or 3 shots and people were dropping? How can you have one? It seems like that's going to be a pretty core weapon too. A rifle's a pretty basic thing. That wasn't even their kind of show-offy one. It's just pump 3 rounds into a guy and he drops down. Where I guess shields don't matter. All right.
Yeah, they're looking to deliver a much faster, much more competitive experience compared to Halo Reach, which was criticized a lot by fans for being a little more casual, a little less hardcore compared to earlier installments.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if they're just boosting all of the, the explosives and the firepower, and they're trying to make it, bigger and badder than previous games.
You got to worry about this or at least be aware of this with both film and video games. I think that you don't necessarily consider a Michael Bay as a bad thing in video games. No one says there are too many explosions in video games.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Yeah, exactly. But I think, especially now where people expect such a high, they have such an incredible expectancy from a video game as far as story, that I think we're actually starting to get to the point where people will be aware that, hey, you put too much firepower in this, there's no content. It's just boom.
Boom.
So I think that's going to develop as more and more of an issue if these games keep delivering in-depth stories, which I kind of hope they do, because I really do appreciate a game that has a very in-depth, detailed story. The artwork and the voice acting is pivotal, and it used to not even have any acting whatsoever. It used to just be sounds.
Yeah. And speaking of story, this is actually the first time the Halo franchise is really going to take their expanded universe, the novels and short films and everything that they've done, and kind of bring those in, bring it back to the core experience. And even every aspect of the game is going to be heavily involved in the plot. Even the competitive multiplayer is being brought into the storyline by making it a simulation involving other characters from the plot. And then there's a game mode called Spartan Ops, which is basically downloadable missions every single week with fully animated and scripted cinematics linking each mission.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's one every single week in like a season. So it's 5 new objective-based missions over 10 weeks. So you're getting 50 missions for free just when you get the game, and then every subsequent season you'll pay for, so you'll like subscribe to it, but you're still getting new plot and new, fully fleshed out storylines.
I mean, you gotta have I guess you're just gonna have a writers team kind of on call for that.
That's kind of
Which
like,
is-
that's expected of games now.
Yeah,
It's going to be a
absolutely.
movie that you play, a playable movie.
Yeah.
But that's in addition to the standard storyline. Like there's the game's single player or cooperative experience. Then there's this additional mode that's delivering new
Content.
storylines
Yeah.
every single week.
I mean, imagine from the production standpoint, it's awesome for these writers because they're going to have, a job, a steady job, if they can keep this content coming, and if Microsoft is going to keep that as an option, they will have an awesome opportunity to stay on a payroll. Whereas, it's very similar to a film where the second you're done with this huge project, okay, gotta find another one. It'll change the way the industry kind of behaves. So I think that'll be definitely something to look to as far as the future of video games and the future of video game content.
And then another thing, I was just looking at this. Starting October 5th, they're launching Halo 4 Forward Unto Dawn, which is like a 5-part live-action short. And I've always looked forward to the new live-action things that they release for Halo in the build-up to every new game.
Yeah.
Because it's just, every time, it's just, whetting your appetite for a full Halo film.
Yeah.
And that would be a wonderful project for like J.J. Abrams or Spielberg to tackle.
I want to say Peter Jackson was signed on
He
initially.
was involved at one point.
And then, I don't remember what happened to that, because I remember seeing trailers for it. Or some, like, leaked footage or something along those lines. But I kept saying to myself, like, that doesn't look like the Flood, or what the heck is that thing? But you'd see warthogs driving away.
Yeah.
And so it was very confusing.
Peter Jackson was going to be the executive producer, and Neil Blomkamp, who did District 9, was going to be directing it.
Oh.
That fell off.
District 9.
District 9 then happened, which you can see a lot of Halo's influence in District 9.
Absolutely.
And a lot of influence from Alien, which is where Halo gets its influence.
I mean, to be fair, the weapons in District 9 were awesome.
Yeah.
They were so cool.
We actually got a question sent in from Alex Deem, and his question is, who would you want to play Master Chief in a Halo film?
Ooh, good
Great question, Alex.
I would almost want Steve Downes, the voice actor from the game.
Yeah, that would be the logical choice.
Because I don't imagine you would see John's face, John being Master Chief.
Right.
I would want Nicolas Cage, not gonna lie. Throw some bees in there.
Here, I'll give you one better. Bryan Cranston. I offer Bryan Cranston as Master Chief. I
would
bet
watch it.
I would totally watch that.
I would watch that, yeah.
I think he could totally pull that off. Especially, I mean, he's not the youngest guy now, but he definitely could pull that weathered look. And if we keep a guy in a suit, even him as the voice would just offer that element where, I mean, we know Bryan Cranston is an incredible actor, so I think that would be a really interesting choice to go with.
Actually, Alex just made a good point. And for those of you who are watching, feel free to message us at Bonus Life Radio on Facebook or on Twitter, and we'll get your questions up on the air. Alex made a good point. It's more about the voice than it is actually the actor, just because you never see his face. So do you think Bryan Cranston's voice would make the character?
Personally, no. If we're just going to do a voice actor, I'd much rather see Steve Downes just stay with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you could do the same thing for Cortana, too. Just have her voice actor stay on board, too.
I mean,
as
she's
AI.
a gorgeous woman, and so that would be by no means hard to do, especially with the level of After Effects and post-production we have. Okay, so you turn some woman into a holograph. Done.
However, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
In the
we
newest
did that in the 70s, so...
in Halo 4, Jen Taylor, the voice actor for Cortana, is no longer... I'm not sure if she ever actually was the actor for the mapping the movements and everything.
Yeah, it is I think I remember seeing a video where they have a separate person walking for doing the movements for Master Chief too. So, I thought it was the same person for Cortana, but I don't know, maybe not.
Not as far as I can tell.
Yeah. But
Which that does pose a bigger problem.
Yeah.
Keeping the same actress
with the same
with
movements.
yeah, unless they just use her face,
Right. And
which they could still.
okay, so what would be the my Sam Chambers just said that Nathan Fillion should play Master Chief. Intriguing.
I'd accept it.
Yeah, I would definitely watch
I would
it.
accept it.
Bring him on board. Call him up.
Yeah, I'm sure he would be game.
Yeah.
He would jump at that.
Now, my question for a Halo film is what would have to change, just in the whole franchise to adapt it to a film? Because the first thing that springs to mind for me is you cannot have a 7-foot super soldier running around with 5-6 foot Marines. Just because it's one thing in a video game, but it's very visually jarring.
I wonder if the logical choice would be to start at the creation. Start with the program at its very beginning.
So like a prequel, you're saying.
Exactly, yeah. Where they're going out, they're getting these kids, essentially. And I wonder if it would be too reminiscent of Hunger Games, though.
I think it could tie it in with the plot of the first game.
Yeah.
So you've got them just skip ahead to after they're off the Pillar of Autumn, that spaceship that crashes, place them on the Halo. So they're on this new world. They don't know where they are, what's going on, what they're about to experience. So you're exploring this new world, and that's very visually stimulating for an audience and for characters. Cut into flashbacks to childhood, so you're kind of you're learning more about this character as this character's learning more about this world.
Okay. Yeah. So follow development on two planes, but the audience is kind of playing catch up with both.
Yes.
That's a good idea. But I think having that element of the prequel and having it be the origin would sate so many appetites for more like an enriched story. And if you could really pull out the characterizations, then you would really, really feel for these kids and what they were put through in order to become super soldiers. And you would feel awful. And it would be this very visceral reaction when these kids who you've seen grow and develop in this program then are killed by it. And, some of them don't survive the process. And some of them are mutilated by it. And it would really bring you to so many different emotions. And I think that's, for a film, that's very important. Whereas if you're just running around and blowing stuff up, again, this is harkening back to the Michael Bay effect. If you're just running around blowing stuff up, you're not giving people that in-depth emotional journey that they need.
Transformers.
That they needed to take. Exactly. Transformers. Yes, it was visually entertaining. Not the greatest storyline, but hey, it happens.